Welcome to Enlightened Evolution.
I'm Cay.
And I'm Christina.
We're here to discuss the ebb and flow of our soul's healing and transformation through self-reflection, choosing intentionally, honoring thyself, and following your inner guide.
Thank you for joining this safe space with us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Enlightened Evolution with Cay and Christina. We hope we find you well today. Today, we're going to be discussing some Buddhism. As I've said before, I'm spiritual. I'm non-religious. I think Christina kind of shares those same values in a way. However, I do take away certain things from certain perspectives. I loved this part of Buddhism, and yeah, I wanted to talk about it. How are you today? You got plans today?
Not necessarily. I'd like to do some retail therapy, but I probably shouldn't.
Mm?
But I know you and I have been talking this morning before we got on and recorded, and I didn't share with you because I thought it was very relevant for this topic. My mom texted me this morning. She actually texted me the other day and said that our family dog was not doing well. And so she took him to a vet that also does chiropractor stuff. And she adjusted him and he seemed to be doing better for a little bit. But today he's much, much worse. So they're actually going to take him and euthanize him today.
I'm so sorry. Oh, that's so terrible.
It is, but he's I want to say 14 years old and he's a
Oh my
pug and they usually don't live that long. Yeah.
What's his name?
Diesel.
He's
so cute. He's the sweetest dog ever. I just love him so much. But today she is ending his suffering, and I know that's what we're going to be talking about.
Yes, that's so hard though still, because they're family.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. Animals can't tell us verbally.
Yeah.
I wish they could tell us verbally and we'd find things out a lot sooner. How they're feeling.
And they're so good at hiding it too.
Yeah. Because they just
even
want
if
to be
they
happy.
are in pain or something. And it's like a defense mechanism for them because if they show weakness in the wild, then they're more apt to get attacked and things. So
yeah. I'm sorry.
Poor
that
guy.
hurts. Do you remember when she got him? How old were you when she got him? He's 14, so you must have.
Yeah, I was in college and my brother was fairly young. We got him for my brother. My brother was wanting a pug, and actually someone we went to school with, her mom had pugs, and I guess she wasn't like a breeder, but whenever they would have puppies, she would sell them. But she wasn't forcefully breeding them.
Yeah.
And she didn't fix them. So we got two from her. It was a boy and a girl. And then I think my brother's friend really wanted the other one. So he ended up getting the girl and we kept Diesel. And he's been a part of our family. I remember when my dad was in the hospital and he was still in a coma after his stroke. Him and Diesel always slept together, and Diesel snores so loud.
I was going to ask if he snored. I heard pugs do.
They do. And I actually went in because someone was saying bringing sounds and smells and things from home really helps to bring someone out of a coma. And so I went and recorded Diesel snoring because they would always sleep next to each other. So it was a sound my dad was used to. And I went and played it for my dad.
That's so cute. Aw. That's hard. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I did my little cry this morning. And then I was rereading my notes for today. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it. And
yeah, it's relevant.
How are you today?
Sure. I'm pretty good. Tired. COVID's still lingering in my body, and it could, just find its way out anytime. Trying to drink this vitality tea. Your little, do you know the teas? You buy teas that have little sayings on the piece of paper that sticks out?
Mm-hmm.
Mine today says, "Let your thoughts give hope, guidance, and upliftment to all." So,
that's what we're here to do.
I know it's that yogi tea. I know. I love this tea.
Oh, I love those.
It's like turmeric vitality. So,
ooh,
come on, turmeric, just boost my immune system. But yeah, I'm
Mhm.
excited. I'm going um to stay at the Detroit hotel tonight, and then tomorrow we're flying out to Arizona to go to the Lions game. So that'll be fun. I haven't been to Arizona since I was there with my grandma when she passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to go see the desert and the mountains. It's like one of my favorite places, and
That'll be good.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Are you gonna do any, like, nature-y, like, hikes or
Yes,
anything?
there is. Oh, I don't want to mispronounce it, but I know I will. It's like the Tono Bridge. It's like an hour and a half, I think, like north of Phoenix, and it's got it's just like a nature preserve, and it's got like it's one of the biggest like cave bridges.
Ooh.
And I think there's like supposed to be waterfalls. Who knows if it's like dried up right now or not? I hope it's
Mm,
not. But so yeah, I'm gonna go there and just do a little
awesome.
hike. And yeah, there's a butterfly conservatory, and we're gonna go there and just the game, and then I'll be back Monday. It's just gonna be a quick weekend.
Oh, wow.
You
That'll be
got
good.
Yeah, you got plans?
I think we're just gonna get out. Jordan is off this weekend, so I think we're gonna get out into nature as well. It's supposed to be back up in the 90s though here. I was really enjoying the fall weather. I think we're just gonna do some biking and skating.
Nice.
It says high 80s. That's
Yeah.
better.
There's that like hurricane going on right now. I don't know if you get any like residual from that.
Sometimes we do. We had a little bit of rain for a few days, but nothing crazy. Sometimes we'll get some pretty severe like wind and stuff from it.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't hit like Florida, New Orleans hard. I know they always take a hard hit.
Mhm.
All right, ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
I found something that's very relevant to this that I wanted to start with that was just like three mental poisons in Buddhism. So I wanted to touch on this
Mm.
first, and I thought it was kind of relevant, and then we'll go into the Four Noble Truths: ignorance, greed, and hatred. Ignorance of the Buddhist teaching on the truth of our world and existence, which results in delusion. And the cure of that is wisdom. Greed and attachment to things that reinforce your love of self and belief in permanence. And the cure for that is generosity. Hatred, the resulting hatred and anger when the truth of impermanence takes away what we greedily attach to. And the cure for that is loving kindness.
Oh, I love that.
I thought that was great. Well, the Four Noble Truths. The first one is the truth of suffering. Life is full of suffering, and it is a universal experience. And then I also found like lame terms for these noble truths. So basically, it's just saying that life sucks. They're relevant though. Like I thought it was super funny. And number two, the truth of the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering is craving and attachment, which basically life sucks because you want stuff. Number three, the truth of cessation of suffering. It is possible to end suffering by eliminating craving and attachment. And basically, if you don't want life to suck, stop wanting stuff. And then number four is the truth of the path to the cessation of suffering. The Eightfold Path is that path which leads you to ending your suffering, which is you basically just stop wanting stuff and you'll stop suffering.
When I looked into the Four Noble Truths, the definition I found, it also included for suffering, pain, loss, and the impermanence of joy.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, is like also physical pain? So I dug a little bit deeper of like, what does Buddhism say about physical pain in this, role of suffering, and what it really said? Because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm in physical pain, like, how do I end that suffering? And it talked about just having that knowledge that pain is inevitable. Like you said, life sucks. Pain is
Mhm.
inevitable. Physical pain is inevitable. And when we detach from the idea that we're going to live this pain free life for the rest of our lives, then we can begin to find some compassion with the pain and that attachment to the outcome of being pain-free.
Mhm. 'Cause I don't think it's avoidable.
Mm-mm.
Okay, the Eightfold Path. The one number 1 is, well, let me see here. The right view, and the right view is knowing and understanding the Four Noble Truths, and that's basically you just described that perfectly, that we're gonna have the pain, we're gonna have the suffering, and just kinda be at peace with it and try to detach with it and just be more accepting of it. Number 2 is the right thoughts and caring for others, being unselfish, not thinking ill things, not hanging on to, not ruminating, not making up scenarios of how things could be better. Um, let me see here. Hmm. Sorry. My notes.
They ran
No,
away from you?
they, yeah, it's just every time I get in like, I have my notes on my computer and my phone, and if I ever write notes on my phone and the way they like convert to my notes on my computer aren't always like the same, so it's just
Oh, yeah.
frustrating. Number 3 I have is the right intention, which is described as just commitment to ethical behavior and doing things for the good of everybody, not just thinking about.
I think that was number 2, wasn't it?
Number 2 was the right thoughts.
Okay.
Number 1 was or what did I say just now? Number 1 was the right views. 2 was the right thoughts. Oh, yeah, maybe.
I have that number 3 is the right speech
Okay.
and speaking truthfully.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. Speaking truthfully, kindly, knowing
This
when.
one's hard. I underlined
The
this
right
one.
speech.
It
Yeah, it is. It is hard because it's not just saying things kindly, calmly, respectfully. It's knowing when to bring up something, how to say it. Like
Mhm.
recently in my relationship, it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't even be talking about something that's on my mind right now because I worked all day, and do I have the mental capacity to even have this conversation?
Right. From a kind standpoint.
Yeah. And I think that's the hardest because we take things so personally from other people sometimes, and it's hard not to just feel like slighted and say things like you and I were talking about earlier, how we were pretty direct, and it's hard not
Yeah.
to be gentle while being direct.
It is, and it's something, like, I work on every day, and especially because of my upbringing, like, if I was not harsh and direct with my words, then I wasn't heard, and I still really wasn't heard then, but there
Yeah.
was no, like, gentle communication in my household. There was no, "Hey, I have a concern about this." It was, screaming and accusatory, not nice words. So, it's a very much unlearning for me to have, therapeutic communication, and that
Mhm.
shows up in my relationship and my work life too.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% in my relationship. It definitely shows up at work too, but I feel like I have to be direct at work. I have number 4 is the right action. Did I don't think I said the right action yet, did I?
Nope, that's what I got too.
Good. No harming others, don't steal, don't cheat. I feel like a lot of these in this eightfold path is similar to like the 10 commandments.
Uh-huh. And,
Um,
like, so for this one, like, those make sense to me. I'm like, "I'm not gonna kill
mhm.
anyone. I don't
Right.
enjoy stealing from anyone or sexual misconduct." Like, those seem like, "Okay, yeah." But the last one, I'm like, I do gossip, and
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
I do say mean things sometimes, and that one's gonna be
Mhm.
hard to work on."
For sure. Yeah, it is. The in here, just like I found something on here. It says not committing, not just passively, following this is just passively not committing unwholesomely deeds. The active meaning of right action is to protect life, be compassionate, and give charity. So
So
not,
also doing the right
yeah,
things.
yeah, doing the right things, not just not doing the right things. Like you're not going to bully somebody because it's mean, but are you going to sit back and watch somebody else get bullied, or are you going to stick up for them?
Right.
5 I have is the right livelihood, which refers an honest way of making a living.
Which is really interesting.
I
Like,
thought
I
it
was
was,
trying to think
yeah,
of what kind of like, our professions are considered helping professions.
for sure.
There's definitely ways that people are exploited in healthcare, but, like, I was
Mhm.
trying to think of what other professions would you think are, like,
Uh,
known for being exploitive,
am I allowed to say
expletive?
like right now a lot of I guess I probably can just say it because it's all over the news and all over TikTok and everything, but a good example would be P Diddy.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. Yep.
So I think
I even think, and I hope this doesn't offend anyone that is a salesperson, but in my experience with salespeople, it's a very manipulative role of
mhm.
where you're trying to dig in. If you're a good salesperson, you're going to dig into what that person's concerns and needs are. And then you're going to exploit those by saying, well, I've got this, you need this, or else blah, blah, blah. I mean, depending on what kind of sales you're in. I think of like a used car salesman.
I do too.
That's what
That's
comes to mind.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, like, the scene from Matilda when Danny DeVito was selling all these lemons to people and they were breaking down and
Yep.
the cars were breaking down, and she's like, "Daddy, you're a crook," you know?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good
So, I mean,
movie.
that would be hard for someone that maybe is in some kind of line of work or feels that something in their line of work is causing suffering to others.
Yeah. Number 6 is the right effort, also known as right diligence, right skillful means, and caring for the dharma. I think the dharma is just like I don't know, like, guess I don't know.
I'm gonna Google it because
I'm good.
when
Yeah,
you
I
say
wanted
it,
to.
it does. I hear it a lot in
Dharma is a key
other.
concept in Indian religions that has multiple meanings and is considered untranslatable into English. It is often understood as a reference to behaviors that are in harmony with the order and custom that sustain life.
Okay.
Sweet.
Have you watched Lost? Did you ever watch
Oh, I
Lost?
did. I didn't.
Remember the Dharma Initiative? That's like what the
Ooh,
whole reason they were
yeah.
on the island.
Did you ever finish it?
We are on the last season and we're slowly finishing it.
I
We
feel
keep
like it got
watching other things.
slow. I feel like it got
Yeah.
slow. Like there was a wildebeest in there or something. I don't know what it was doing, like abominable snowman or something in the woods. And I remember it's like, what the fuck
It
is
gets
going on
weirder
with
and
this show
weirder.
now? Yeah. But I remember loving it when it first came out.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
this could also be like cultivating positive mental states, developing more wholesome qualities, and overall just like improve your mind and your behavior.
Yeah, everything, your mind, your behavior, your body, your relationships. It it's hard to make a consistent effort every single day. I talk about like working out all the time, like I just don't got it in me to do it every single day the way I would like to to get the aesthetics I'm searching for.
Mhm. Yeah, same.
And I do
Like
need
there's this
to.
outfit I want to wear in a month and I'm like I just don't think we're going to be there.
Oh goodness. Aw. I think the right effort kind of like plays a part into all of these that we mentioned so far because it you have to make an effort to train your mind to not think negatively or to say the right things and do the right things and make good choices for everybody involved.
Yeah, and
As
just
like a
acknowledging the
collective.
fact that yeah, and it's not gonna come easy. Like, you have to actually make the effort to make
Mhm.
these changes.
Yeah. Mm. You got right mindfulness for number 7.
Mhm.
Just being aware of the effects and the thoughts of your actions. I think we did a whole episode on mindfulness.
Yeah, so just finding those different ways to cultivate mindfulness throughout your day.
My therapist is really big on doing things from a curious state
Mine too.
instead of being so reactive. Like I've been trying to be mindful of the ways I react to things when I'm triggered, and I cause myself a lot of suffering with
Yes,
the
we
with the way I
do.
respond to things and what I choose to be bothered by.
Same.
It's like, why do I even give a fuck?
And
About
and what you just said, like, that's the basis of our suffering is we're choosing it. We choose our suffering. We could choose
Mhm.
not to suffer.
And I think like I get like this entitled feeling sometimes like in romantic relationships where it's like if you didn't do that, I wouldn't suffer. Like I put all the responsibility on the other person. Like just, stop doing whatever clean out your car before I get into it. So, just like stupid stuff. I don't know.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
everybody, but not everybody is, the same. Try to be mindful of that there is no right or wrong. We just have this perspective and we hold on to our perspective so tightly sometimes it's hard to see past and give each other, grace.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely been struggling with that.
Yeah. Oh, me
And
too.
really finding that balance of, like, how much grace do I give someone versus having needs that I want met. And having unmet needs is my suffering, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm saying I need
Yeah,
this,
you're
but I don't
attached to
have it.
needing that. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so tricky,
But then
isn't
at the
it?
same time, I'm like,
I deserve it.
certainly I deserve that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Of course.
So I'm not sure where that falls in this path.
I think with this path,
I think there's a lot of selflessness in
yes,
Buddhism.
there is.
Mhm.
And I picture that little chunky Buddha sitting there and it's got that saying, that meme, and it's like, let that shit go.
Mhm.
It's hard to let some shit go, my friends.
Mhm.
Number 8 is the right concentration, the right meditative concentration. It's focusing on the mind and settle the distracted body so we can better cultivate ourselves. And what do we choose to concentrate on is what causes our suffering too. I mean, it all falls into place together. But I think that what we choose to concentrate on grows, you know, and then
Yeah,
and then it causes us stress. Stress is lethal, deadly.
it is. When I looked this Eightfold Path up, I was like, okay, what I'm reading here makes sense, but how do I practically apply that to my life in
Mhm.
2024? Because I'm not sure where to start. So I got a description of each of the steps and kind of practical ways to start incorporating them. The first one, the right understanding, is just learning more about the Four Noble Truths and Buddhist teachings, which we're doing here and people can continue to do outside of here. It also mentioned just observing your own experiences with suffering. So
Mhm.
notice when you're suffering, stop and take a pause and notice, hey, I'm angry right now, or I'm sad or upset, and then really getting to the root of that. What is the want or the need that is not being met that you're attached to? And maybe doing some journaling with that so you can see, like,
Yeah.
is there a theme here, you know?
And it's kind of contradictory from what we're taught as well, because in this Buddhist teaching, it's basically like, just let that shit go. It doesn't matter. If you could actually let it go, you wouldn't suffer anymore. But then
Mhm.
we're told our feelings are valid.
I know.
And we need, so it's like, oh, but I think in the bigger scheme of things, I think if we could actually not put so much attention on what causes us to suffer, I don't think it would feel as big. Like, yes, our
Mhm.
feelings are valid, but how much does it really matter at the price of somebody else?
Yeah. And like I was telling you the other day, like I struggle severely with perfectionism, and I told you like
Mm,
it's ruined relationships for
yeah.
me.
Mhm.
And I have this huge fear that it'll ruin my current relationship, but it's something that I'm so attached to.
Yeah. For yeah, for sure. For me, I'm not as much as a perfectionist as you are, and I think your mom really ingrained that in you. But I do
Mhm.
recognize those parts in myself. I think mine in this right now, what I'm resonating with is the right speech. Like, I
Mm.
definitely will just like, in my relationship, I just fly off. I'll feel I'll feel validated in how I feel too when I say like, "Oh, you say this," like, instead of being mindful and curious, like, "Hey, what did you actually mean by that? Can you say it to me differently?" Or, "This is how I took it. Did you mean," "Did you mean it that way?" Especially when I'm about to start my period, I'm psycho. And so
Same.
so
So
it's
I got
just
my little buddy here.
I know. What's your buddy? I didn't see it.
Oh, my Mountain Dew.
Oh, yeah, 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 your mom do, that's funny. And so, it's funny, I mentioned that to him today, I was like, "I'm about to start my period." He's like, "Thank you for making me aware of that." It's
It's
like
nice to have a warning. So you
yeah,
and for your partner to know, like, okay, if she's a little bit more on edge, this is why, and I can give her a little bit more grace, hopefully.
yeah, yeah, he's been really good, actually, just listening to the things that fly out of my mouth. But
Yeah, and that's like recently, and out of all of these parts of the path, the speech is the one I know I struggle with the most out of all of
mhm,
them. And
it's what
there will
causes
even be
go ahead, I was just gonna say it, but it's what causes me to suffer the most, I think, out of everything
yeah.
here.
And like you said, there will be times even when I feel like I'm I can't speak today, communicating kindly, and then I'll say something, and then maybe a day will pass, and I'm like, "God, I could have said that better," or, "I really
Mhm,
feel bad that even though that's what I needed to say, it hurt that person."
yeah,
And where where is the happy medium in there? That's
I
what
know,
I'm searching for right now.
I know. It's because we're attached.
Yep.
We're attached to the outcome, we're attached to wanting to feel better. It is hard, but I came across this, like, over a year ago, and
Oh, I was gonna ask you how you learned about this, because I mean, I haven't studied much of Buddhism, but it wasn't
mhm,
something I had ever heard of before.
mhm. I can't remember what the original video was that I saw on YouTube, but it was a monk on there. I wanna say it was the Shaman Brothers or something, but and he just has different he was a Buddhist monk, and he just has different ways to explain his, like, daily living and how he handles his suffering, and it was helpful. There's 1,000 different resources on YouTube and Google that you can find if you want it better explained. I didn't get fully into the nitty-gritty because 'cause I'm not a Buddhist, so I don't
I
know
know I didn't wanna
everything.
do any
I didn't wanna
injustice to it.
yeah, I didn't yeah, but I do love the concept, and I think that although I'm not religious in any way, I do think there's some like, everything has its place, and I thought
Oh, yeah. I think
this
there's something we can
has a
learn
good place. Yeah.
from all religions, for
Mhm.
sure. I was trying to find the quote. I think it's from Ram Dass, and it's something like the clinging of the mind will get you every time or something. Just
Ooh,
like
I like
reminding
that.
you the
Yeah,
things
that's
you cling
relevant.
to,
Mhm.
they will trip you up.
Yes, they will. I love Ram Dass.
Me too.
Do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. Just if you think this is something that, I mean, it's definitely something I can see merit in, and I would like to continue to improve on. But like we've said, I am stuck between that, validating yourself,
Mhm.
which self doesn't really fit so much in Buddhism, and
Right.
also wanting to end suffering. So
Yeah.
I mean, I do see it. It's clear there when you cling on to the things you think you need for self, you suffer.
Yeah, you do.
All right. Well, we thank you all for listening and joining us this week. Make sure you follow and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts.
Check us out on YouTube. Namaste.
Namaste.